We just got the announcement that both the draft and set boosters are no longer going to be a thing going into 2024 with Magic the Gathering. This is a pretty big announcement, so I'm going to break down exactly what they've talked about, why they're doing it, and kind of what it'll mean for the average player. Let's jump right into this. Now, when I say they're getting rid of draft and set boosters, they are definitely doing that, but it's not that they're not going to have anything to fill that spot. We're not just going to a world where it's only collector boosters, which I know is something a lot of people are scared for in the future. We are getting a replacement, and they are calling them play boosters, which the goal is to take set boosters and draft boosters and combine them into one. So it's actually kind of funny, because if you haven't played Magic for that long, you may not know that originally they just had boosters. You know, when Guilds of Ravnica came out, it was just boosters, and they are very similar to the draft boosters we have today. But with Throne to Eldraine, they added a second type of booster, that being the collector booster. And then with Zendikar Rising, they added set boosters, with the goal being a booster just for opening, a booster just for draft, and a booster for collecting the cool variants and foils in the sets. They are going back and they are going to be merging set and draft boosters into one. Since that time, we've also seen jumpstart boosters which have come and gone, and so it looks like Magic is trying to simplify their lineup. And we're going to talk a little bit about why they're doing this, but first let's talk about what a play booster is. So a play booster is a mix of set and draft boosters. You've probably gotten that by this point, but it is going to be a total of 14 cards, which is a weird combination where set boosters were 12 cards and draft boosters were 15. We are going down to 14 cards, and they are going to be priced at the same price point as a set booster, so about $1 more than draft boosters. These are going to fully replace draft boosters, meaning for things like sealed and draft, it will be about $1 more per pack for the actual game. So this is a little bit of a mini price increase as they are getting rid of the cheaper option and kind of forcing everyone to go up. But there are some really interesting things about the booster. Let's break it down slot by slot. Just a quick note for the next part, I am using Wilds of Eldraine cards. This does not apply to Wilds of Eldraine, it's just the most recent set. Play boosters will be found in Murders at Karlov Manor and Forward. We're just using these as examples. So first off, the first 7 slots of the booster will be commons from the set, with the caveat being that the 7th common can be replaced with a card from the list. Previously, the list was a set booster exclusive thing, and we're going to talk more about the ramifications of this in a second, but let's just move on with the next slots. Following the 7 commons, you will get 3 uncommons. These will again just be your normal uncommons, very similar to a draft pack, and following that up, you'll get a rare or mythic. So far, it seems pretty normal, but we're only 11 slots in and we've gotten to the rare or mythic. Following that up, you will get a basic land or a common land from the set in the next slot, and following that up, you will get 2 wild cards. Wild cards can be any card, meaning they can be a common, an uncommon, a rare, or a mythic, and you'll get 1 non-foil wild card and 1 foil wild card. That does mean, like set boosters, you are guaranteed to get 1 foil per pack. It's no longer like a 1 in 3 chance in your draft boosters. So you'll get a foil and a non-foil wild card, meaning they could be anything, upping the number of rares and mythics you can get to a pretty high number. And finally, the last slot will be a token, art card, or ad. This is what was on the end of draft boosters as a token, or at the beginning of set boosters as an art card. You'll get one of those things at the end of every pack, meaning it's not going to be as consistent, but you can still get both types of cards. Here's kind of a general overview of the pack just to help you kind of visualize it. But yeah, the pack is very similar to a set booster and a draft booster combined. And let's talk about why they did this. They basically said that draft boosters were becoming extinct. People were choosing to buy set boosters almost every time, and so draft boosters were only being used for draft, which was their point, but it was becoming less and less popular to the point where they were considering getting rid of draft boosters and just sticking with set and collector boosters to kind of help stores not have extra stock and to help simplify the new player experience by reducing the number of boosters. So instead of doing that, they essentially made a set booster that you can draft. There's no connectedness between the commons and uncommons, and we'll talk more about the specific differences between a play booster and a set booster and a play booster and a draft booster here in a second, but they essentially did this to allow drafting to continue to happen. For draft, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You know, it is 1 less card, so your pool has 1 less card, and it is going to be a little bit more expensive for drafts to actually happen because you have to use slightly more expensive boosters. But the biggest thing that will impact draft is the fact that the list is included in the packs that you're drafting with. If you don't know, the list is this big list of like 300 cards that could be randomly found at the end of set boosters. They'd all be reprints from Magic's past with a little planeswalker symbol on the bottom left, and they could vary in power. You know, Sword of Feast and Famine was in there, but there were also like random 2/2s for 2, and they were just kind of a fun way to add reprints that wasn't a super big deal, especially because it didn't impact legality. You know, the reprints in the set didn't mean they were now legal in Standard or Pioneer or Modern or anything like that, but now they are going to be legal in draft formats. If you pull a list card, you can draft that, you can use it in your sealed pool, and so that means the cards in it are much more important to know about so that you know what's exactly happening in your limited environment. To help with that, they're reducing it down to 50 cards. 40 of them will be traditional list slots, and 10 of them will be the special guest slot we learned about with Ixalan. If you want to learn more about what special guests are, I talk about it in the Ixalan reveal video you can find in the upper right of this video right now. So essentially the list will be made up of 10 special guests, 30 common or uncommons that are traditional lists, and 10 rare mythics that are from the traditional list. So again, 50 cards. About 87.5% of the time, it'll just be a common from the main set in that spot. 9.38% of the time, it'll be a common or uncommon from the list. 1.56% of the time, it'll be a rare or mythic from the list, and 1.56% of the time, it will be a special guest card from the list. That does mean there's going to be more rares and mythics in the limited environment, but it also means opening these play boosters should be more exciting like it is to open a set booster. I actually think they did a pretty good job of combining what's exciting about set boosters with what's needed for a draft booster. I think a lot of this will depend on what's on the list. You know, if it's a thoughtfully curated list that makes the draft way more interesting without affecting the legality of standard, that's exactly what I want to see from this. You know, the extra bonus slots are some of the most fun parts of modern Magic sets, especially in draft, and so I'm really excited to see what they do with it, but it really depends, and we won't see any of this until the murders at Karlov Manor. I think it'll be really interesting to look at. It kind of depends on how they change the sets they're building and, you know, what rares or mythics are in that list slot. If the set becomes, you know, too bomby, you know, if every draft environment is based on who pulls the list card, I'm not going to be a big fan of that. But if the list is very carefully curated and it kind of just adds fun new cards that couldn't be added into standard, but they make the draft more fun, I am all for that. You know, bonus sheets are really fun. You know, we may have a set where we have the list and bonus sheets, and that'll be even more fun. You know, things are getting a little bit more expensive, but so are a lot of things, and so I don't think I'll be able to give an accurate judgment on this until I've played my first draft of Murders at Karlov Manor. You know, do the extra rares make it more fun? Are the sets built better? You know, they're changing from 80 uncommons and 100 commons to 80 commons and 100 uncommons, meaning there'll be more uncommons than commons. And so, you know, if these changes make draft feel better, I think this is gonna be a great choice, but it's going to be one of those things that we're just gonna have to wait and see. So let's talk about a couple other things. First off, for Arena, the normal packs are going to stay the same, but draft packs are going to change to be play boosters, so you'll have 14 cards. The list will be implemented, which I think raises a lot of questions on how that'll impact like historic legality and things like that. Things may be shifted here and there where something may be on the list and paper and they pick a similar card on digital, but they're trying to make the draft experience as similar as possible, and so that'll be something else I'll dive into as we get closer. Alright, so let's talk about the differences from set and draft boosters. So comparing a play booster to a set booster, in play boosters you get 2 extra playable cards, but there are no connected commons or uncommons. That's where like all of your commons and uncommons might be the same creature type or the same color or artistically the same. There'd be something linking them together. You're also getting 1 less non-foil wild card, so the cards that could be anything, whether that be a rare, a mythic, a common, an uncommon, any of those, you're getting 1 less of those compared to set boosters, and that's being replaced with a normal uncommon. And then you are getting 1 less non-playable object. You used to get a token and an art card in every single set booster. That is now being combined into 1 slot. So you're kind of getting, you know, 1 extra card here because you used to get the art card, but they are now more playable cards than non-playable cards. It also means there's only a 1 in 3 chance to get an art card in a set booster, where set boosters used to always have an art card. The differences between draft boosters and play boosters are that play boosters have the potential to have up to 4 rares or mythics instead of 2. It has 1 less playable card and 3 less common, so one of those missing playable cards is just a common. It also has 1 additional non-foil wild card, 1 additional foil wild card, and a 1 in 8 opportunity of getting a card from the list, and the ability to get art cards from them instead of tokens. The one thing Wizards doesn't say here is that they will also be going up in price, so they'll be closer to a set booster as opposed to a draft booster in price, meaning about $1 more. However, play boosters come in a box of 36 packs, so unlike set boosters, which came in a box of 30 to try and keep them around the same price as draft boosters, this means that the price of packs is more expensive and there are more packs, so that means that it's going to be more expensive than a set or a draft booster ever was, so boxes are going to look more expensive than ever, even if proportionally the packs are about the same price as set boosters. Overall, I think this is something that, again, like I said before, we're going to have to wait and see how good it is based on the list, based on how the sets are built, but I will be definitely doing another video once we've seen Murders at Karlov Manor, so stay tuned and subscribe for that. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If you want to see more details on the special guest slots, check out my Ixalan video here, and if you want to learn about the Lord of the Rings holiday release, which is coming out in like 2 weeks, check out this video here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.